Welcome back to Biomes. This time we are talking about Sable Island. Sable Island is this very small island a ways off the coast of Nova Scotia in Canada. So Sable Island is actually a just well-established sandbar, about 40 or so kilometers long, and at its widest point, just under a kilometer and a half wide. It is quite small and quite a harsh environment to live in, but despite all of that, there are quite a few species that thrive there, many of them endemic to the island. There's also a surprisingly good deal of plant life, the most important one being marram grass, which is considered to be a keystone species of the island. It is very important, providing food for all of the other animals that live there, as well as being instrumental in holding the entire island together. Most of the topography of the island is sand, and this marram grass with its very long roots helps hold that sand in place. In fact, Sable Island is so very much almost entirely sand that the name comes from the French island of sand. So it is mostly sand. There's so much sand. There's a couple other types of plants and shrubs there as well, including berries like this one, the black crowberry, as well as the American cranberry. Other shrubs, such as this one, the creeping juniper, can be found there, and there's no really tree species at all found on the island. A while ago, some people tried growing pine trees there, specifically the Scots pine. However, they all ended up dying, and since then there have been no trees found on the island. There's a couple species of native wildflowers found there as well, including this one, the Virginia rose, and this one, the seaside goldenrod. But the most famous thing about Sable Island, if you have heard of it, not many people have because, again, it's a very small remote island off the coast of a very small remote province in Canada, that would be the population of feral horses. Now, these are not wild horses, they are a feral domestic breed that was introduced to the island in the 1700s and since then have populated pretty much the entire island. They are the largest animal found there, and the population is around 500 or so of these horses. Now, technically these horses are not native to the island, so there is a debate on how good these horses are for the island in general, but they have been there for well over 300 years, so it's not really worth looking into much at this point, and they are protected now on the island, and the island as a whole is now a national park. Other large mammals on the island include things like seals, like this one, the gray seal, as well as the harbor seal. And Sable Island is home to the largest population of gray seals in the entire world. The seals, in turn, are also preyed upon by a couple different species of decently sized sharks, including this one, the Greenland shark. But as is the case with most small and remote islands, most of the wildlife is in the form of birds, such as this one, the Arctic tern, as well as a population of the endangered roseate tern, which does breed on the island, making it a very important nesting site. And there's also many different species of gulls found on the island as well. Sable Island is also the only known breeding spot of the Ipswich sparrow, a distinct subspecies of the savanna sparrow, which is also endangered. And it's also home to the barn swallow, which is considered to be endangered in the province of Nova Scotia, as well as a couple other places. The small amount of streams and ponds on the island also have a small population of freshwater fish, including this one, the mummichog, as well as things like sticklebacks. And our friend up here, the American eel, which is also considered to be vulnerable and endangered in some areas. Sable Island is also home to a very high number of endemic invertebrates, such as this one, the Pocilla sphinx moth, which is a type of sphinx moth only found on Sable Island. There's also this guy, the Sable Island sweat bee, another species of invertebrate that is only found on that island. And there's also the interesting case of this guy, the Ephalus latimanus, which is a species of darkling beetle, which is not found anywhere else in Canada except for on Sable Island. It's not endemic, it's found in other places, except Sable Island is incredibly remote, and this beetle does not fly at all and tends to only stay in one place, so it's a little bit of a mystery as to how exactly it got to Sable Island, but it sure is there. Now, like many small and isolated islands, Sable Island does have a very unique ecosystem, since it is relatively cut off from the rest of the world, or at least the rest of the land masses that it surrounds. So it has the very unique chance to evolve a cool and unique ecosystem in an unlikely place.